So we'll just have a few moments silent meditation. Everyone arrive, and then we'll begin. We'll do the breath purification. We'll begin or continue with our beginning. We'll be using these two main practice texts, I think everyone knows, but our daily prayers, treasury of precious mantras and prayers, and then also the Ngondro sadhana. So to begin, we'll begin by feeling the presence, invoking the presence of Guru Padmasambhava, reciting the 7-line prayer and our lineage prayers. So maybe we'll start in this Daily Prayers book, page 14 if you need. Om Mojin Yuji Nu Chan Sam Padma Gesa Dombola Yatsen Chogi Nurupni Padma Jungni She Sudrak Kodu Kanro Mangpe Kor Chechi Jesu Tak Chuji Jinji Lopje Shek Su Sol Guru Padma Siddhi Hum Om Mojin Yuje Nu Chan Sam Padma Gesa Dombola Yatsen Chogi Nurupni Padma Jungni She Sudrak Kodu Kanro Mangpe Kor Chechi Jesu Dak Juji Jinji Lopje Shek Su Sol Guru Padma Siddhi Hum Om Mojin Yuje Nu Chan Sam Padma Gesa Dombola Yatsen Chogi Nurupni Padma Jungni She Sudrak Kodu Kanro Mangpe Kor Chechi Jesu Dak Juji Jinji Lopje Shek Su Sol Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Please give your supreme blessing to this place. Please give me the 4 initiations of the supreme practice. Please remove demons, misguidedness, and obstacles. Please grant the supreme and ordinary siddhis. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Bara Guru Padma Om Bara Guru Padma Om Bara Guru Padma Om Bara Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. 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 Oma hum bara guru bema zire hum 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 hum Oma hum bara guru bema sidi hum Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Benta samaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum bara guru bema to trengsal Vajrasamaya za sidi pala hunga Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za Oma hum ri maharini tsara tsariya sita ring ring za. By the Guru, Dakinis, and their retinues, to all of us who are devoted disciples, to my body, please give your body blessing. To my voice, please give your speech blessing. To my mind, please give your mind blessing. Please give me your blessing of the 4 empowerments. Please give me your blessing to purify my 4 obscurations. Please give me your blessing of spontaneously accomplishing the 4 paths. Please give me your blessing of obtaining the 4 kayas. Om Ahum Bhadra Guru Pema Deva Dakini Kaya Abhikensa Om Waka Abhikensa A Sita Abhikensa Om Sarva Abhikensa Hri. We'll continue on page 20. Samantabhadra, Vajrasattva, Pramadavajra, Sri Singha, Padmakara, the 25 king and subjects, So, Zur, Lub, Nyak, the 100 Tirthans and others, lamas of Kama and Terma lineages, to you I pray. In the past you were the Vidyadhara, Nudan Dorje Tsal. In the future you will be the Buddha Mopataye. Now you are the regent of Padmasambhava, the actual presence of Dragpa and Lotsawa. Jigdrel Yeshe Dorje, to you I pray. Happy with little, content and rich in jewels of the 3 trainings, with loving compassion, seeing all beings as parents. Through 3-fold realization, you made 3 doors, 3 Vajras. Virtuous monk, Pematsutram, to you I pray.
the supreme tradition of the glorious Buddha, Padmasambhava, which is the essential, extraordinary view and doctrine of the early translation school, you keep alive and spread by the light of wisdom. Lord of Dharma, great Khenpo, I pray at your lotus feet. In the palace of the Ogman Dharmadhatu, the essence Buddhas of the three times, the one who shows clearly the Dharmakaya of my own mind, we pray to the Honorable Root Guru, glorious Root Teacher, precious one, dwelling on the lotus seat on the crown of my head, hold me with your great kindness, bestow the accomplishments of body, speech, and mind. Chom dende pa doje sembala chagsalo. We'll do a little bit of Vajrasattva practice. So if you need this mantra, it's on page 76 in our daily prayers. Om Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patija Diro Mebhava Sudakayo Mebhava Subhajayo Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutome Tizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvatata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Bhava Mahasamaya Satoa Om Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patija Diro Mebhava Sudakayo Mebhava Subhajayo Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Satu Am Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patija Diro Mebhava Subhajayo Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Varamame Munza Varivama Masamaya Satua Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Deda Deda Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Varamame Munza Varivama Masamaya Satua Om Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Deda Deda Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramame Munza Varivama Mahasamaya Satoa Om Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Deda Deda Mebhava Sudakaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramame Munza Varivama Mahasamaya Satoa Vajrasattva Teno Deda Deda Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Titam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramame Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum 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 Vajrasattva Om Vajrasattva Hum 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum. We will continue on the page 24. Just make the mandala offering to the three jewels and requesting the teaching to unfold in our minds and hearts clearly and for the benefit of all. Saji puchu jukshin metok tram rirab lingshi nide jenpadi sanje shingtu mikte purvayi roku namdak jinla chupashok Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Nyayatayami. Simchen Namchi Simpadang Loyi Chetrag Jitawar Chechong Tumung Tekpayi Jochi Kolo Kodu So. The earth anointed with perfumed water and strewn with flowers, Mount Meru and the 4 continents ornamented with sun and moon. By offering them visualized as a Buddha field, may all sentient beings enjoy the Pure Land. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Nyayatayami. According to the wishes of sentient beings and their capacities, for the high and low, common and uncommon vehicles, please turn the wheel of Dharma. And so, again, thank you and welcome, whether we're here in the room and then also all sharing the same time and place in this precious world at this time in the mandala of our beautiful teachers. And we're here at Padmasambhava Ling, and I think maybe most of you were here last week, but in case anyone's new, thank you. Welcome. Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche very kindly asked that we share our Saturday afternoon Ngondros with the Sanghas at large for anyone interested, especially those practicing the Ngondro, to have a little Sangha time together, to practice together, and then also to just reflect a little bit upon these teachings and practice of the Ngondro, which we all know encompasses all of the Buddhist teachings, all of the practices. And so what we're thinking to do with these days, with our time, is to reflect a little bit on the Ngondro and then mostly do the practice together. And so whether you're new to Buddhism in general, whether we've been practicing for years, the Ngondro is just so beautiful way to engage. I think anything we could reflect a little bit upon with Ngondro, of course, it's beautiful to take it into our practice of Ngondro proper, but because it embodies all of the Buddhist teachings, it's all good and all going to be of benefit if it is. And I just thought to say from the beginning, a few people wrote and just asked questions about receiving transmission for these teachings and for the practice in particular. And so that is something very traditional. It's always very good to have the blessings of the lineage as we're engaging with our practice. And so traditionally it is good to receive empowerment and blessings, to receive what's called the Lung, or the transmission, where someone who's been practicing and especially has some realization of the teachings reads them, and we receive the blessings to take them into our own mind and heart. And then of course receiving the teachings is important. But most important is that we practice. So Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche has said very clearly that anyone who wants to join the practice is welcome and has his blessings and his encouragement to practice. There's these few little minutes and moments we'll have to talk a little bit and reflect on the teachings. There's many teachings on YouTube at our PBC YouTube channel. There's so many books by our venerable teachers as well as others on the Ngondro. So you're welcome to do that. And then of course we're in kind of strange times with the COVID pandemic, but when the time comes, definitely people who really want to follow through with making this part of their daily practice can and should. We'll see what we can do, to come and receive transmission in person
with Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche, or if you know someone else carrying the lineage. So I just wanted to say that to start. So please feel free to join. And last week we went over very briefly what Ngondro is, and kind of went through what it is, what the sections of the practice are. And so we were thinking to just continue with that pattern as we're cycling through, week to week with this. And so last week was maybe almost a blur as to what we did and went over. But we'll just start in the beginning and we'll move our way through. So we thought today would be kind of, again, setting up the circumstances for our practice, looking at what are called the three frames, or the three noble ones, and then also with our Ngondro in particular, to some degree, start to look at the sections of Ngondro. Like we mentioned, there's many Ngondro practices, and Ngondro means foundation, what goes before, or what's the essence, the source, the heart of any and all truly beneficial practice. Ngondro has all those elements, and so we'll go over those sections. Basically, there's two Ngondros. There's the outer Ngondro, or kind of common Ngondro, common foundational things to take into our mind and heart, and then the uncommon, extraordinary Ngondro of the practices in particular. And so we'll go over those as the weeks go. A few people had asked about especially the mandala section, so we will go over that. I'll send out an email which kind of will have a little bit of a schedule as to when we can kind of focus more on certain topics. But first, we have the outer Ngondro, 4 thoughts that turn the mind. And then once we enter the extraordinary Ngondro, we have taking refuge, Bodhichitta, Mandala offering, Vajrasattva practice, purification, and Guru Yoga. And then in addition to that, we have this aspiration to Amitabha, to accomplish Poa, as well as the charity of giving everything with our great Bodhichitta. And so we'll send out a little bit of a schedule as to looking at the Saturdays. We'll be doing that, so people can kind of have some sense of how we're progressing. So with the practice, or meditation means we're becoming familiarizing with things as they are. The great kindness Buddha Shakyamuni gave the profound, vast ocean of teachings that so beautifully, through the blessings of the lineage, of this lineage of practice and study, which came to Tibet in the 8th century, entails the full package of the Buddhist teachings, which can be summarized into 3 vehicles, or 3 yanas that are practiced as a unity. The whole aim of the Buddhist teachings are to remove our obscurations and the causes of them, and by that naturally bringing out our innate goodness qualities, our innate Buddhahood. Central to the teachings is that the Buddha taught every single living being has a Buddha nature, has that potential for inconceivable, uncompounded, immeasurable love, wisdom, compassion, qualities we all have but just need to bring out. And so by refraining from harm, engaging in benefit, working with our own mind is our path in our practice. And like we'll get to a little bit later on, all the results of our experience have their causes. So in the really big picture, the cause of our Buddhahood is our Buddha nature. So that's something definitely to take in our mind and our heart, and that's what we're doing with the teachings. And so we're developing our wisdom. We have what are called the 3 wisdoms, which are listening, hearing, reading the teachings, and then contemplating, thinking, reflecting, taking them to heart with practice. So study, contemplation, practice. And similarly, when we begin any practice, or maybe take a step back. We have our practice time to kind of bring in that 3rd wisdom. With these sessions, we're kind of moving a little bit with all of those, developing those 3 wisdoms. But what little bit I bring up here now, obviously isn't the whole vast ocean of the Dharma, but little sparks. And this is really, like Rinpoche mentions, and it's true, we've all heard so many teachings, we've all done some degree of practice. Just bringing them up into our own minds and hearts and settling into the practice, working with our own mind is what we're really trying to do. And so when we have a formal practice that we're taking, there's what are called 3 frames or 3 noble ones, which is essentially saying we want to kind of have the right frame, the right vessel for our practice to touch home base. And then everything in the world has a beginning, has a middle, and has an end. And so kind of using that natural truth, we're working with that, with how we structure our practice. And everything that's said in the teachings, everything that happens is circumstantial. Our motivation is what makes all the difference. And so, like Rinpoche says at the beginning of every teaching, like all the great masters say at the beginning of every teaching, but this is something we should always be doing with every time we sit down to practice, is engaging what's called the 3 motivations. Motivation, intention really makes all the difference. And so that's the big part of this first frame. And again, they're not like a step we're going to take and leave it behind. We're setting the foundations and we're growing from there. So when we have made a little bit of time for practice, we want to sit down, we want to reconnect with those. And so basically, like we've heard many times, but again, we need to do it, it's connecting with our joy, our appreciation. Relax. Let go and recognize just how precious our situation is. Quietly, calmly. It doesn't have to be like some manic excitement, but just take a moment to refresh and reflect on how precious our situation is. And then engaging our bodhicitta, really thinking through the power of interdependence, through the power of the truth of the innate goodness, that really make that aspiration. May this practice, may this study, may this contemplation truly be of benefit, not just for myself, but countless sentient beings in this life, beyond my perception, just truly generating with that vast as space there are beings, as much as there are obscurations, there are sentient beings. Every sentient being has the same beautiful nature. Sorry, I'm getting my tech feedback here. I'll try to adjust this so I'm not wrestling at you all. Refreshing with our bodhicitta, relaxing, contentment, joy, appreciation, and then expanding our bodhicitta to vast, limitless sentient beings, and then connecting with our devotion, with our or pure perception. Which can be seen kind of recognizing there's nothing else but this moment. Deep down, this moment is pure. This moment is perfect. This isn't some coincidental accident. We are here with our practice in the spirit of love and compassion. These amazing teachings have come into our life with living human teachers who embody them so beautifully, that we have the fortune to meet and to practice together as Sangha, even like over space and time. So precious, so beautiful. So like those five, connecting with that, just the perfection of this moment. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. We have the perfect teacher. We have the perfect teaching. And we're all the perfect, just everything has come into place with the assembly of people in the mandala receiving these teachings. On the deep level too, this vastness view, that deep down everything is pure enlightened mind. Everything we experience is within our mind, of our mind. Our mind is pure, our mind is vast. It's Buddha mind. All sounds, all thoughts are the speech of the Buddha nature. All forms, all appearances are the display of the Buddha's bodies. Just connecting with that view at least, because our view is so important. Without kind of having a little bit of a vista, then we're kind of left a little bit in the dark. So bringing out that inner light, that inner wisdom, feeling that pure view, the three Vajra states, enlightened mind, enlightened body, enlightened speech is our whole experience. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect place. Its nature is bodhicitta. Bringing out bodhicitta, thinking of everyone who has not recognized that beautiful nature, including ourselves. And then looking at the suffering we have, the suffering others have, with an open mind and open heart, and relaxing with that. That's the essence of these three motivations. Sometimes that's called the motivation of renunciation. Often Rinpoche says kind of joy and appreciation, which is true. But also it's that aspect of looking at things enough clearly at how things actually are, that we're not so much going against the grain. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the four thoughts. But more contentment, more joy, more appreciation for our situation, less obsession with our story, kind of getting out of the way of ourselves and others. That's the essence of renunciation, maybe. Bodhicitta, and pure perception, devotion. These are the three motivations. And like again and again, the great teachers say, our teacher says, we're starting with these things at the beginning because that is the nature. The whole vast ocean of the Buddha's teachings, which we have the great fortune to have in our hand, and we're trying to take into our heart, is called, like I mentioned earlier, the three vehicles. The foundational vehicle, or Theravada Buddhism, or sometimes called Hinayana, in relation to the Mahayana. And then the extension of Mahayana is Vajrayana. The view and the motivation of all of our practice is practicing these three vehicles together. All the teachings, all the practices, the view that is established, the meditation we do that helps to embody and familiarize ourselves with, become more natural, authentic with that view, is called meditation, which is helped by our conduct, both on the cushion and off the cushion. And that brings us to the result of moving through the paths and the bhumis to full Buddhahood for the benefit of all. And so, the essence of basic foundation of Buddhism is renunciation, learning to be less selfish, less obsession, more contentment, more appreciation, more joy, not getting so fixed on our snags and lost in our crags, but kind of really taking in more of the full vista, where we can see, maybe in the big picture, we're really quite fortunate. Anyway, I should watch the time here too. But the essence of foundational Buddhism is renunciation, joy, appreciation, contentment, less obsession, more contentment. The essence of Mahayana is Bodhichitta, which is a vast subject. But that's the essence. And again, even more openness. The essence of Vajrayana is pure perception, kind of devotional awe and reverence for the innate goodness and natural purity of all phenomena. And so with that, we purify our obscurations. We go right to the heart of our practice. So that's why in the beginning of our practice, we're beginning with those three simple things, connecting with our joy, appreciation, bodhicitta, devotion, pure perception, and we enter into the practice with that. So when we do start our practice, again, forgive me, I'm really kind of trying to navigate our time, so we actually do end up doing some practice, so I'll try to keep it a little bit short. But just to, again, take back, if we're thinking about our formal practice, reserving a little bit of time to do that is good. Ideally, that's going to be something we could do day to day, or however fits with our rhythms and the other obligations and things we need to do in our life. But really reserving some time for practice is so special. And it doesn't have to be hours, but what makes all the difference over time is a continuum. So when we start our practice, whatever the amount of time, kind of just like we've done so far, arriving, paying attention to our posture, I don't think we have time to go over everything, so maybe next week in the beginning we can go over a little bit of like just basic things with our posture, our body, the 7 kind of aligning. There's also many teachings on that. We did the breath purification, relaxing our mind, and just like I've just said, engaging with our joy, appreciation, bodhicitta, devotion, opening our mind and our heart and extending that, and then feeling the presence of the living lineage, the blessings of all the Buddhas, the presence of our teacher. And then we begin the practice. And so usually, we always begin with the 7-line prayer and lineage prayers. And then of course we're particularly working on the Ngondro sadhana itself. And this is particularly the Dudjom Tersar Ngondro that was revealed and kind of distilled by His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche from his previous reincarnations work. The very concise, very beautiful. It's what most everyone in the Mandala Padmasambhava Buddhist Center practices as their daily practice and moves through the Ngondro in their life. So that's what we're following. And as we're doing the practice, I'm kind of going through things once we actually get to the practice according to our time. So just know that. Your practice doesn't have to be the same as what we're doing here every day as far as the amount of time we spend on things or how many times we recite a certain line or whether we say it in Tibetan or English or both. That's kind of a little open, so just know that. So when you do have time, starting like I said, and then like I mentioned, we have, since we're on this line of the motivation and kind of setting the stage, this first frame of the good in the beginning. Just like that's the essence of the Buddhist teachings. Everything is good in the beginning, so starting right with those qualities as we can connect with them right here and now is what we're doing. And then with the Ngondro itself, we have, I think it's on page 26, 27 is where the actual Ngondro practices begin in this. And there's this is called the 4 reflections that reverse the mind. So this is again in that good in the beginning aspect. Not that we leave it behind, but turning our mind towards these things is so effective. It said if we can really reflect on these things before every practice, before every teaching, throughout the day, it really helps. And why is that? Because most of the time, we're expecting something different. Right? We all have the Buddha nature, but we haven't realized it, or we're in the process of recognizing it. That's the only difference between a fully enlightened Buddha and an ordinary sentient being like myself, is how much we recognize our nature or not. That's what Buddha means. Fully developed, fully awakened, and completely purified of obscurations and their causes. We tend to think things are permanent. They're going to last forever. That I am and that is, and nothing matters except for what I want or think I want right now. Who I think I am, or who I think that person is, etc., and so on. We think things are not so much connected, that maybe things don't have so much of effect on each other. Things are permanent, we're individual, independent, going to last forever. Lots of things that we all have this basic ignorance of how things truly are. And these 4 thoughts are things that everyone whether you're Buddhist or not, these are facts of life. And so kind of reflecting on these, we have these really simple lines, but really spending time reflecting on these, like throughout the day, or like reading about them in Words of My Perfect Teacher, or from Dudjom Rinpoche, or Khenpo Tsewang and Khenchen Palden Rinpoche. These are totally traditional teachings. That means they're tried and true, have been effective for everyone, for these great masters. These are things they take into their mind and their heart. So these 4 thoughts are, as we know, basically reflecting on this precious human birth, reflecting on impermanence, reflecting on the law of karma, and reflecting on suffering, on samsara. Just really looking at it, all of those things kind of with an open mind, with an open heart, kind of clearly. And so again, we really should start our practice soon, but as we can say more, and so much already has been said by our wonderful teacher, as well as so many other great masters. So I really encourage you, try to find, even if you've read, reflect on these things, really having them in our day, in the atmosphere of our attitude and mind, really recognizing and reflecting on all the situations we're free of, both within this human world that we can perceive, and then through the omniscience of the Buddha and the truth of his teachings, the experiences of other beings and other realms. There's so many situations we're totally free of, and we have so many good circumstances in our favor, especially regarding being relieved and released from suffering and its causes. A Buddha has appeared, and the teaching and has taught, and the teachings remain. And we have, to some degree, some interest and faith in those teachings, and are putting them into practice is up to us. So like reflecting on all that, and how rare actually in the big picture, being human, born human with all these favorable freedoms and endowments and circumstances is amazing. And impermanence. No matter which way we turn, we can see how everything's changing, always. Our emotions, our minds, our perceptions, the day, our lives, civilizations, everything that comes into being moves out of being. Everything's changing. Look to our own lives, No matter which way we look, like the Buddha said, of all the footprints of all the animals, the elephant's is supreme. Of all the things we could contemplate, impermanence is supreme. Is it something we all can really very clearly see and just be familiar with that truth? And it's not all a bummer either, of course, right? No matter if things couldn't change, we couldn't become more natural. And really, logically speaking, if nothing ever changed, it's kind of impossible. Anyway, impermanence. And like Mipam Rinpoche said, becoming familiar with impermanence is so really, really, really special and profound to our mind and our consciousness, because one, it's seeing things how they are, but it's also how we begin to understand emptiness. And then reflecting on karma, like it says, the results of virtuous or unvirtuous actions are inexorable. That's another just fact of life. Everything we experience is the ripening of our past thoughts and actions. That's what karma means, is action. Often, sometimes I think, especially in the West, people think karma means just what's happening, but it's also what we do with what's happening, and that's what makes all the difference for the future. So they say, just like in the common, if we plant an apple seed and give it all the right conditions to grow, it's going to root and shoot and flower and fruit, and there'll be more and more apples. If it gets dry and dries out, it won't happen. There's so many circumstances that can happen that won't bring it to being. But when the conditions to bring that seed into fruition happen, it will happen. And it will be not just one seed, many seeds and many apples. Similar with all our experiences, how we perceive, what we do with our body, with our speech, especially with our mind, and the actions that flow through our speech and our body. That makes all the difference, and the results are inevitable. What we do with them is what makes all the difference. And here we have practice and suffering. The three realms of cyclic existence have the nature of an ocean of suffering. We have these three basic poisons, as the Buddha called, our ignorance, our aversion, our attachment. And from those, all samsara springs. So suffering has its causes, and there's so many sufferings beings go through, both that we can perceive in this world to whatever degree we can, and again, according to the omniscient true speech of the Buddha, who kind of told us of other experiences beings go through that are outside of our perception, but are just as real to them as this is real to us. So again, we don't have a whole lot of time. Maybe we can definitely look at these again, talk a little bit about these, but taking these to heart, becoming more familiar with, like they say, with suffering. Samsara is suffering. Samsara is ignorance. Of what? Of how things are. And all the actions done out of that basic ignorance and hope and fear. That engenders our bodhicitta, and it's also maybe we begin to slowly but surely recognize we're not going to find everlasting peace and relief in samsara. As much as we have ignorance, that much we have samsara. As much as we have aversion and attachment and ego clinging and grasping, that much we have samsara, whose nature is empty, is open, is aware. And that's why we begin this. Namo, the very first line. Lama, infallible, constant protector, be aware of me. Calling to the mind the Lama, the Buddha, one who has completely realized that nature is free of obscuration due to their great kindness and compassionate activity, as bringing this to our own experience, that we can explore our own nature, bring out those innate qualities of our own mind, cleanse our Buddha nature, to bring it, give it all the causes and conditions to expand, to grow into full bloom state, remove our obscurations. And Khenpo Tsewang's also said this first line, Namo, Lama, infallible, constant protector, be aware of me. That's also, of course, thinking of the outer Lama and the great living lineage that's present, whose blessings and activities and realization is in our life, in our mind, but also our own awareness, our own view, our own attitude, with kind of keeping that in our mind and heart as we reflect on these four thoughts, which naturally bring out our bodhicitta, make us more content, bring out more bodhicitta, kind of give that at least kind of courage, that commitment, that devotion and closeness feeling to just the innate, gorgeous beauty of truth and what's natural and authentic. So, which is the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So maybe with that, I'll conclude my little talking, and we can actually do some practice. So, yeah, I have time. So we'll just sit for a moment. Try to remember everything I just babbled about and everything you know and have in your heart, and the real dharmas that awaken those beautiful qualities in your practice. Begin with this 7-line prayer and quick lineage prayers. We'll just say 7-line prayer once and then our lineage prayers. Ordinarily we do 3 times, so just for time, maybe we'll do 1. Om Ojin Yuji Nu Chan Sam Padma Gesa Dombola Yatsin Jugi Nu Rupni Padma Jugni She Sudrak Kodu Kanro Mang Bekor Cheji Jesu Dak Juji Jinji Lobje Shek Su So Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Samantabhadra, Vajrasattva, Pramadavajra, Sri Singha, Padmakara, the 25 king and subjects, So, Zur, Nup, Nyak, the 100 Turtans and others, lamas of Kama and Terma lineages, to you I pray. In the past, you were the Vidyadhara, Nuden Dorje Tsal. In the future, you will be the Buddha Mopataye. Now you are the regent of Padmasambhava, the actual presence of Dragpa and Lotsawa. Jigdral Yeshe Dorje, to you I pray. Happy with little, content and rich in jewels of the 3 trainings, with loving compassion, seeing all beings as parents. Through threefold realization, you made 3 doors, 3 Vajras. Virtuous monk, Pematsotram, to you I pray. The supreme tradition of the glorious Buddha, Padmasambhava, which is the essential, extraordinary view and doctrine of the early translation school, you keep alive and spread by the light of wisdom. Lord of Dharma, great Khenpo, I pray at your lotus feet. In the palace of the Ogman, Dharmadhatu, the essence of all the Buddhas of the 3 times, the one who shows clearly the Dharmakaya of my own mind, we pray to the Honorable Root Guru, glorious Root Teacher, precious one, dwelling on the lotus seat on the crown of my head. Hold me with your great kindness. Bestow the accomplishments of body, speech, and mind. Now to just really expand our view, increase our devotion, and kind of that purity view, we'll recite this, calling the Lama from afar. I think we have time today. And again, as we read these, reflecting on the meaning, but relaxing with that view, bringing out everything we've been talking about. letting all the teachings and practice we have a landing pad and a doorway through these words. So we're on page 18 in the Ngondro. The essence, primordially unchanging, the innate nature, free from elaboration, dwells as the youthful vase body, the originally pure, profound clarity. Dharmakaya Lama, Yeshe Dorje, be aware of me. Please grant the blessings to attain great confidence in the view. The nature, unceasing, conjoined configuration of luminous clarity dwells as the display of the spontaneously present 5 certainties. Sambhogakaya Lama, Dechen Dorje, be aware of me. Please grant the blessings to perfect great ability in meditation. The compassion without bias, the primordial wisdom free from all limitations, dwells as the essence of all-pervading naked awareness emptiness. Nirmanakaya Lama, Drodal Lingpa, be aware of me. Please grant the blessings to accomplish great progress and action. The primordial ground of one's own awareness is unchanging and unmoving. Whatever arises as the expression of Dharmakaya is neither good nor bad. Since awareness of nowness is actually the Buddha, the completely free, serene Lama is revealed in one's innermost heart. When this original mind is realized as the very nature of the Lama, there is no need for whining, contrived prayers made with grasping and attachment. By letting go in the free, natural flow of uncontrived awareness, not holding whatever arises, the blessings of self-liberation are obtained. Through fabricated practice, there is no time to achieve enlightenment. Meditation, through mental analysis and intellect, is a deceiving enemy. Now conceptualization falls apart with the abandon of a madman. Let this life be spent in a state of uninhibited naked ease. Whatever one does, joyful, practitioner of the great perfection, in any company, happy, lineage holder of the lotus born. Great treasure revealing Lama, teachings beyond compare, heart essence of the Dakinis, having dispelled the heart's darkness, great ignorance in its own place. The undiminished sun of luminous clarity shines continuously. This good fortune is the kindness of the Lama, the only Father. Unrepayable kindness, only remember the Lama. Unrepayable kindness, only remember the Lama. Unrepayable kindness, only remember the Lama. Turn to page 27, the 4 thoughts that turn the mind toward the Dharma, the 4 renunciations. Namo lume tinji gompo lama chin Dajo dini shintu nidparka
Shetse mitak jiwe chochen yin Gedik lechi jure luwa met Kamsun korwa dukna jamsonang Drene daklo chula jurwa shok Namo, infallible, constant protector, be aware of me. The freedoms and favorable conditions of this human birth are extremely difficult to obtain. Everything born is impermanent and bound to die. The results of virtuous and unvirtuous actions, which are causes, are inexorable. The three realms of cyclic existence have the nature of an ocean of suffering. Remembering this, may my mind turn toward the Dharma. Namo, Lama, infallible, constant protector, be aware of me. The freedoms and favorable conditions of this human birth are extremely difficult to obtain. Everything born is impermanent and bound to die. The results of virtuous and unvirtuous actions, which are causes, are inexorable. The three realms of cyclic existence have the nature of an ocean of suffering. Remembering this, may my mind turn towards the Dharma. Namo, Lama, infallible, constant protector, be aware of me. The freedoms and favorable conditions of this pregnant birth are extremely difficult to obtain. Everything born is impermanent and bound to die. The results of virtuous and unvirtuous actions, which are causes, are inexorable. The three realms of cyclic existence have the nature of an ocean of suffering. Remembering this, may my mind turn towards the Dharma. And so in one way, in relation to these three frames, this would be somewhere on the borderline between the first noble one and then our main practice, which is these extraordinary Ngondro practices, which is also beginning with refuge. The gateway to all Buddhist study and practice is taking refuge. And so we'll do this together. Again, I'm working with our time, but we're going to get up and do some prostrations with these refuge vows. You're welcome to join us. We'll probably do this for maybe just a couple of minutes. We'll begin, and then we'll get up and do some prostrations with our body, speech, mind, in the presence of Guru Padmasambhava and all the refuge tree. Dizung Changchu Ningpo Mato Bar Lama Kunchu Sunda Chabsu Chi Dizung Changchu Ningpo Mato Bar Lama Kunchu Sunda Chabsu Chi Dizung Changchu Ningpo Mato Bar Lama Kunchuk Sumla Chabsu Chi. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels. Tizun Changchu Ningpo Mato Bar Lama Kunchuk Sumda Chabsu Chi Tizun Changchu Ningpo Mato Bar Lama Kunchuk Sumla Chabsu Chi Dezom Changchu Ningpo Matoba Lama Kongcho Sumla Japsuji.
From now until attaining the heart enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, take refuge in the Lama. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Now heart of enlightenment, I take now heart of enlightenment, take refuge in the Lama. Now Three Jewels. Now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, take refuge. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels. Dezom Changchu Ningpo Matoba Lama Kongcho Sumla Japsuji. Dezom Changchu Ningpo Matoba Lama Kongcho Sumla Japsuji. Dezom Changchu Ningpo Matoba Lama Kongcho Sumla Japsuji. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the Three Jewels.
We'll continue. Next page, Bodhichitta. Dane jungte korwa matombar maju semchen kunje pende drup. Dane jungte korwa matombar maju semchen kunje pende drup. Dane jungte korwa matombar maju semchen kunje pende drup. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. Dane jungte korwa matomba manyu. Dane jungte korwa matomba manyu. 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 Dane 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 jungte korwa matomba. Now until samsara becomes empty, I shall come. Sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes all sentient parent beings from now until I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall come. All sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes empty, shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall come. All sentient parent beings from now until samsara shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient. From now until samsara becomes empty. Sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes empty. All sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes empty. From now until samsara becomes empty. Sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes empty. All sentient parent beings from now until samsara becomes empty. From now until samsara accomplish the benefits and happiness. From now until samsara becomes empty. So from now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. From now until samsara becomes empty, I shall accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings. And we'll make our mandala offering, the accumulation of merit, the mandala offering. We will go over this more in the future. Right now, I don't have the pan here, but of course there's the mandala pan. If you have that, you're welcome to use. And that's something that definitely is good to use, especially when you're doing your accumulation.
practice for the mandala section of Ngondro. But we also have our body, and then there's this Mandala Mudra. So there's a diagram of that in the Ngondro sadhana. I'm sure you can find it places, but essentially, I don't know, if you put your thumbs to your pinkies, opposite, one thumb to the other hand's pinky, the other thumb to the other hand's pinky, put your ring finger together, and then with your index finger, and pull the middle fingers of your other hand. But don't worry, but we're offering up everything, just like it says here, offering all goodness that we have in this life and in all our lives, real, imagined, everything to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. This really profound practice of the mandala. And then too, I'll just say, we're doing this, we'll say a few times together, and then we'll all go to our own rate, at our own rate, keeping the meditation and intention and view. And then once I start to become a little louder, then that kind of signals we're coming to the conclusion of this section. So.
Serap kunji lodang lonchot pal, sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunji lodang lonchot pal, sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunji lodang lonchot pal, sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of the succession of all my lifetimes I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of the succession of all my lifetimes I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of the succession of all my lifetimes I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kunchok sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serap kunjelu dang long chopa sokni sokche kuncho sumlabu. Serab kunje ludang loncho pa, sokni sokje koncho sumlabu. Serab kunje ludang loncho pa, sokni sokje koncho sumlabu. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of this succession of all my lifetimes, I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of this succession of all my lifetimes, I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. The bodies, enjoyments, possessions, and glories of the succession of all my lifetimes, I offer to the three jewels in order to complete the two accumulations. We'll continue the purification of obscurations through the meditation of Vajrasattva. Jivo lama do Samye medbe kule dutsi jumbab dribjangju. Above one's head is Vajrasattva, inseparable from the Lama. From Vajrasattva's body, a nectar stream descends, purifying one's obscurations. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tijadero Mebhava Sudukaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Satoa Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tijadero Mebhava Sudukaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Savaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Sato A Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tijadero Mebhava Sudukaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Sarvaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Subhajaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Sarvaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Samaya Sato Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tijadero Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Sarvaside Meprayata Savakama Sutame Jizam Jiriyam Guru Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajre Samaya Sato Om Vajra Samaya Manopalaya.
소소미 시정 진고 Vajramami Manza Padmasambhava Sattva Vajrasattva Samye Mandala Mudra Subhashame Subhashame Anatmeva Subhasime Prayatsa Sabadama Sutsame Jisam Jimguru Bhagavat Sabadada Gata Vajramami Manza Samye Sattva Vajrasattva Samye Mandala Vajrasattva Meva Subhashame Subhashame Anatmeva Subhasime Prayatsa Sabadama Sutsame Jisam Jimguru Bhagavat Sabadada Gata Vajramami Manza Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenupa Dijadido Mebhava Sudukaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Sarvasiddhi Meprayatsa Savakama Sutsume Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Satoa Om Vajrasattva Samye Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenupa Dijadido Mebhava Sudukaya Mebhava Subhajaya Mebhava Anurato Mebhava Sarvasiddhi Meprayatsa Savakama Sutsome Jizam Jiriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramami Munza Vajre Bhava Maha Samaya Sato A Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum Om Vajrasattva Hum 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum Osu Daknan Dangre Rochik Jo Vajrasattva melts into light and becomes mingled in one taste with one's own perceptions. Next section, page 36, the swiftly penetrating blessings of the Guru Yoga. Rangi doje na jo dungaru sawe lama peme kujinju. Oneself is Vajrayogini, and in the sky in front, the root teacher manifests in the form of Padmasambhava. Dusum sanje malu tu peku sawe lama chogla solwa dep dichi bado sundu tukje sung dusun junje mepa jinje lo dusum sanje tu peku sawe lama chogla solwa dip dichi badu sundu tukje sung du sun junche mepar jinji lo. The embodiment of all the Buddhas of the 3 times without exception. Most excellent root teacher, I pray to you in this and future lives and in the bardo. In these 3, hold me with your compassion. Bless me ceaselessly throughout the 3 times. Om Ahum Vajraguru Padmasambhava Hum. 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 Baraguru Bemzero, 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 Om Ahum 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 Baraguru Guru Bemzero, Om Ahum Baraguru 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 Om Ahum Baraguru Bemzero, 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 Kusun Tukche Wanjin Yongso To. The blessings and empowerments of body, speech, and mind are completely and perfectly obtained. Vajra Guru Kaya Waka Seta Siddhi Hum. The Lama dissolves into light, is absorbed into oneself, and becomes inseparable with one's own state of being. Behold the emptiness awareness, the true face of the Lama.
I pray to the protector Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. Grant me the blessing to become accomplished in the profound path of Poa. I pray to the protector Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. Grant me the blessing to become accomplished in the profound path of Poa. I pray to the protector Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. Grant me the blessings to become accomplished in the profound path of Poa. Now my body, possessions, and the source of my virtue, all together, I give without clinging to all beings who have been my parents. May I accomplish great benefits unobstructedly for all beings. Now my body, possessions, and the source of my virtue, all together, I give without clinging to all beings who have been my parents. May I accomplish great benefits unobstructedly for all beings. Now my body, possessions, and the source of my virtue, all together, I give without clinging to all beings who have been my parents. May I accomplish great benefits unobstructedly for all beings. And so we've completed the second noble one of our main practice of the Ngondro, which is based in the goodness in the beginning, sprouting through, and now we've completed. And now we'll do the third noble one, the third frame, which is always sealing our practice, again with joy, devotion, bodhicitta, pure perception, and vast aspiration prayers. So we'll dedicate the merit and then apply ourselves as we can and bring this atmosphere into our days. So we'll go back to our daily prayers, beginning on 29. Gangri rawe kowe shinkamsu pendande wa malu jungwe ne chenre zikwan tenzin jamso yi jape kaje badu tenju chik Om swasti bidzayantu chosum sasum jitu padma jung nine so dep tukje tujinji kenchen palen sherab tu beku kutse tangshin sezan tachin chok Om swasti sewang rigzin pe mejin labji do nyi dupe laksam noden la Shedrup kolo sumji parote sangchen natang chokle namja sho. Page 32. By this merit, may all obtain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy, wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. May the sole source of benefit and happiness, the Buddha's teachings, remain for a long time, and may the victory banner of the lives of the noble ones, the holders of the teachings, remain firm. May all the temples and monasteries, all the readings and recitations of Dharma flourish. May the Sangha always be in harmony, and may our aspirations be achieved. The sole remedy for the suffering of sentient beings, the source of every joy, is the teaching. May it remain honorably upheld and flourish for a long time. May all the numberless beings who are sick be quickly freed from sickness. May all the afflictions of sentient beings never again arise. May all sentient beings always be joyful. May all births into lower realms cease forever. May the wishes of all the bodhisattvas in all the bhumi swiftly reach fruition. At this very moment, for the peoples and nations of the earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, or suffering be heard, and rather may pure conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase, and may supreme good fortune and well-being always arise. The precious bodhicitta, in those without it, may it be generated. In those who have it, may it never diminish and always continue increasing. Throughout the succession of lives into which I shall be born, may I attain the 7 qualities of the upper realms of existence. May I meet the Dharma immediately after taking birth and have the freedom to practice accordingly. May I please the holy lamas and practice Dharma day and night. By understanding the Dharma and practicing its inmost essence, in that life may I cross the ocean of samsara. In samsara may I expound the excellent holy doctrine. May I not become bored and tired of accomplishing the benefits of others. By my own tremendous impartial service to others, may everyone attain Buddhahood together. May the lotus feet of the Guru who glorifies the teachings be firm. May the noble ones who hold the teachings encompass the earth. May the prosperity and dominion of the patrons of the teachings increase, and may the teachings auspiciously remain for a long time. May the secret treasures of all the victorious ones, their incomparably supreme teachings, arise as the sun in the sky, gloriously pervading the entire universe. Nectar essence of all the teachings of the victorious one, great charioteer of the secret Vajrayana teachings of the early translation school, emanation of Nupchen Sanjay Yeshe, great Tertan Sasum Lingpa, may your profound treasure pervade the entire world. May the soul swift path of all the Buddhas, the supreme vehicle, the great perfection, unanimously praised by all the victorious ones, the early translation school tradition of the king of the victorious ones, Padmasambhava, the conqueror's doctrine, pervade auspiciously throughout all directions. May the great tradition of Khenpo Tsewang Lopom Padmasambhava, and Dharma King Trisen Detsen increase and spread throughout the 3-realm world. May the appearance of the 3 jewels and the mind streams of beings remain inseparable and bring sublime well-being throughout the 3 times. Deity, mantra, and Dharmakaya are the nature of appearance, sound, and awareness, the pervasive kaya and wisdom display of the Buddhas. May practitioners of the profound and secret great perfection remain inseparable from the innermost one-taste awareness of wisdom mind. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your practice. And I know Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche is really very, very happy in supporting everyone to explore the Ngondro teachings and especially practice according to your inclination and your abilities and time, etc. So wonderful, thank you. And if it helps as far as, the time in which we just did these 3 frames, as far as the actual Ngondro practice we just did was about 45-minute session. So as you kind of go through it, you can have a sense of how long things take. And then of course, when you're doing accumulation, you can stop in that section and really soak in that and spend more time there. And then dedicate the merit with aspirations, and then offer it up and move into the day. So thank you. I'll let you know, we'll send out an email about our Ngondro sessions, but also next week we'll have Ngondro on Saturday, and then I'm pretty sure that Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche will give another teaching on the Hard Advice for the Fortunate One by His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche next Sunday. I think that's the 13th. In the morning. So we'll be sending out an email about that soon, as well as our other schedule. We have the Mahaparinirvana of Khenchen Palden Sherab Rinpoche coming up on June 19th Rinpoche will lead practices for that. We'll continue with our Ngondros. I think Khenpo will give at least one other teaching on the heart advice this month. And then we'll be leading the summer retreat via webcast, July 17 to 24. So we'll get this posted and we'll send out an email with the details of that very soon. So thank you again. Have a good week and all the best. Thank you.